It's Market Day Report. Welcome to a Monday and happy St. Patrick's Day. Okay, now that we are up and trading, are we in the green for the row crops? Let's start with the corn market. Good place to start, and we're building on the overnight session. The old crop up 5 1/4, 463 3/4. Now to the new crop, December, 3 higher, 454, and all of this in front of a prospective plantings report coming at the end of the month from USDA. November beans, that's the new crop, unchanged at 10.18 a bushel. Over to the wheat market. Let's start with Chicago, and July at 587 1/2, 14 1/2 higher. And look at the sixes in front of September, December, and March contracts. Hard red also moving higher, up 18 1/2, 617 1/4, and the May contract on the old crop up over 19 cents. What's happening there? We'll find out in a moment with Tommy Grisafi. Spring wheat 660 1/2, it's up 14 1/4, and then the cotton market in New York 2 points higher. Yep, that's a 70-cent trade right now for cotton. Let's go to Tommy Grisafi with Nesvick Trading, and Tommy, row crops being led by wheat. What's happening?
Well, yeah, there's always problems in the world, and there seems to be problems again anytime there's disruption in the freight or the flow of grain. It really spurs the market. We used to do this a lot during the Ukraine war, and then it kind of it tapered off, this reacting to geopolitical events, but we definitely reacting to it. Soybeans don't care. Soybeans looking over at wheat and just saying, do what you want. Now, interesting in corn having a good up day, up 5.6. That's what it was down on Friday. We did learn Friday after the close that, and I'm sure many of your analysts have touched on this, the funds are not nearly as long corn as they were. So they really ramped it up, got us above that $5 corn. And now as they get out, I always tell people, if you're not selling to the funds when they're buying, you're a fool, because when the funds go to get out, then we get a air pocket like we've had recently. But, 453, 454 there in D's corn. You have a crop insurance level of 470. Major crop report coming up in a few weeks, and could be a market mover. So let's get prepared for that, my friend.
Yeah, you mentioned the soybeans earlier, as well as we look at the 1 month chart action on the beans. And then over to hard red winter wheat as well, just watching that, trying to rebuild from the losses earlier this month. And speaking of losses, one area that we haven't seen much of a loss is the precious metals, and the gold market pushing well above $3,000 today. Are you watching it?
Yeah, I'm looking for that leprechaun too here on St. Patty's Day. Maybe I think the closest you and I will find to gold is the little chocolates wrapped in gold foil. That might be the best we can do. Interesting, because there's a lot of alternatives here with crypto and everything else. But gold, I remember most of my younger days on the involved in markets, gold was like a $300-400 an ounce thing, and now it's 3,000. It's not performing as well as if you would have bought a stock 20 years ago, but it is performing. That's nice to see. So cash gold did hit $3,000 an ounce. Futures hit it last week. We're having a little resistance up here. Might be a couple people digging up some shoe boxes buried in a tree, maybe selling a little bit of this stuff. But interesting how it trades, and just another asset class. And like we talked about last week, they have the smaller contract, the middle contract, the big contract. Pick whatever you want to trade, and the exchange usually has something for it, my friend.
Yeah, you look at where we are for 2025, gold market up 13.6%, 16.8% gain for silver here in 2025, and compare that to where the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P are trading this year so far. They're all in the red. We'll come back and touch on the equities. We'll also pick up livestock futures. Market Day Report continues in a moment. So again, last week, cash cattle, pretty impressive in the South. We traded, what was that, 203, and that was up, let's see, that's a $6 gain week over week. North 205 to 206, that was gains of $3 to $4. And then the big one, dressed 325, up 10 bucks. Okay, let's go to the live cattle market, and this is a pretty good indication of what we've seen on the tail end of higher cash prices. Remember, we started seeing cash prices move lower at one point earlier this month, and you can see that dip there from the live cattle futures April contract, and then it started its build back. What do we actually see on the board this morning? We see higher prices. The April up 60 cents at 203.77, and the June at 199.82. It's up 47. Feeders. I've got to quit saying this, but it just works. Feeders have been the leader. 283.02 on the March contract, $1.05 higher, $1.40 higher on the May at 284 even. And what about the hogs? Hogs struggling over the last 30 days, down 7%, but trying to move higher in the trade today. April at 88.12, it's $1.50 higher. Let's bring back in Tommy Grisafi, Nesvick Trading. That's the protein sector. What catches your eye?
Well, you could have bought feeders down. They opened. I was watching the ladder. I was thinking of buying a few, and they instantly traded up 200. So feeders did open. First print, first trade was lower on the day, and then those buyers came in. A friend of mine out on X, on the old Twitter sphere, his name's Ben Rand, and he was talking about how LRP might have changed, and it probably not might have, it probably did change the natural seller. So the cattleman's a natural seller in the futures market, but they're buying these LRP contracts. And it was interesting. I got to go back and look at the thread. I'll text it to you. But interesting debate, and be a great little segment to have someone like that on who sells a ton of LRP insurance. And LRP is not exactly new, but it's becoming really popular as cattle continue to hit record prices. Essentially, the government will give you a put, and you don't pay for it till the end, or you get paid, as best I understand. So several people here. We have someone at Nesvick who does sell LRP, and that young man has been very busy. So things are changing. We need to change with them. If you need to learn more about it, Google it, call someone, but you got to know what's going on. And so his point is the natural seller in cattle gone? And is that what makes this cattle market so easy to go up, my friend? I found that very interesting.
Yeah, spot on there. Now, earlier we mentioned the equity markets, Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P. Let's look at the Dow market this morning, and it's moving higher at last check. So the Dow is higher. And again, you look at where we are for the past 30 days, off nearly 7%. NASDAQ has losses of over 11% over the past 30 days, and 8% losses on the S&P, but everything higher. Just one final thought here on the equities, Tommy.
Well, we become callous to big moves. It's nothing to be on your show saying, Dow's up 500, down 500. Again, folks, that's only 1%, 1.5%. Corn's already up more than 1% today. So 600-point move in the Dow is like corn being up 5-6 cents. We just got to keep it all in perspective. I don't think people are starting to complain. Their 401ks are going down. I spent the whole weekend watching basketball here in Nashville, and I can tell you the Nashville economy is extremely healthy.
Well, there you go. Nesvick Trading. It's Tommy Grisafi. We'll see you again soon.